Hey, it's Robbin here with the next video in our series. Be sure to scroll because we've got several videos, downloadables, audios, great training for you, no opt-in required. This is, kind of the last hurrah for the year because when we roll into next year, the newsletter won't be free anymore, and that's kind of why we're doing this. But I'm also doing this because I really believe that if you can set yourself up for a successful new year now, you're going to hit new year and really rock it. And that's what I want for you. That's what I want for all direct sellers. That's really where my passion is in serving you guys, because so many of you come to me and you're like, I got these dreams, I got these goals, I got these things I want to do, but I don't know how, or my leader has orphaned me, or I'm so disconnected from my team, or, or I get a lot of these kinds of comments from you guys. And so I wanted to give you something that gave you the jump start of really looking at your business like a business owner versus an employee working for your direct sales company, which even your direct sales company doesn't want you looking at your role in that light. So, we've talked about celebrating our wins. We've laid down our picture perfect paintbrush photograph of what we'd like life to be like. We've given it that 20% stretch. Now what we're going to do is start to create an action plan. And I'm not going to give you specific steps in this video. I think that that's something that you can kind of craft yourself as we work through what we're going to talk about here. But the thing I want to talk to you about is called backward planning. Now, if you sat down yesterday and you worked through, what do I want January to look like? What do I want February to look like? What do I want March to look like? And you went forward through the year. Now you're going to be able to go back and look at the year going backwards and say, okay, if I want to achieve these things, I'm going to have milestones along the way that I also need to include. So for example, if by December you want to have $80,000 in personal sales, you're going to have some milestones along the way. So by June, maybe that number would be 50,000, or maybe it would be 30,000 because the bulk of your income is coming at the end of the year. Okay? I can't tell you what those numbers are going to be because only you know your metrics. And if you don't know your metrics, this is a good invitation and reminder for you to go back and look at your numbers. Now, if you're brand new in the business, talk to your upline leader about what the averages are for your area. If she's been in business any length of time, she can give you a reasonable idea of, the typical show is going to run about this much. You're going to have these many guests on average. She can speak to you from some level of experience. If you're not brand new in the business, go back and check your own numbers from the last 3 months, the last 6 months, and if you've got them, go year over year so that you can look at, well, last January I did this, and I expect that it'll be about the same this year or next year, okay? Or it'll be lower or it'll be higher because I've got different circumstances going on. I have a client who spends several weekends in January out of the country. If that's the case, she's not going to ever have a lot of sales unless she's doing something to actively promote the individual selling of her business materials when she's not around. So for you, you need to keep those things in mind. If you're planning a big trip in June, you can't plan to be having big mondo sales in the month of June because you're not going to be around. So we go backwards through the year after having gone forward, because going forward through the year, we can look at all the stuff we already know. Okay? Then we go backwards and we plan the things that set the milestones for us. So if you want to have 12 new recruits by the end of the year, that means about one a month. So you can go back and you can go, okay, that means in January I got to hit one, in February I got to hit one. If January you're going to be completely off for the month, you're going to have to bump January's recruit somewhere else in the year. The next thing that goes along with that is identifying the action steps that you need in order to make those mini goals happen. So for example, if you need to talk to 5 people, do 5 recruiting interviews to book 1 new recruit, then you need to schedule 5 recruiting interviews every month that you plan on hoping to have a new recruit. And then that 20% stretch, okay? Remember the 20% stretch so that you're hitting those numbers that you want to hit throughout the year. So we go forward through the year first because that's where we hit all of our known quantities. I know that I'm going to be doing this month. I know that I'm going to be doing this month. Then we go backwards through the year to set those milestones. And if I'm sounding a little bit redundant, it's because this is an important concept that I want you to grasp. The need to go both ways through the year, because it's really easy once the year starts to stay right here, to stay focused on, okay, this is the month of January and this is all the stuff I got to do, and not give any thought to how January's success or lack thereof sets up February, which sets up the entire first quarter, which then sets up your second quarter, which then sets up the second half of your year. And then all of a sudden it's October and you're like, where did the year go? If you keep those metrics in sight, when the numbers come back at the end of January and you go, oh, my sales are up from what I had anticipated, or, oh, my bookings are down from what I've anticipated, you can then shift gears and be ready to be more aggressive or to stockpile savings in February and March, depending on what your results are. But if you don't have those plans and those milestones in place right now, you're not going to know whether or not you're successfully attaining your objectives. And then come November or October, you're going to be saying, well, I got 3 months left to hit 75% of my goal. And that may not be realistic for you. So if you're continually monitoring and you've set milestones up throughout the year, that will help you see more success in your business. The other thing that this does, especially if you're working with your team on this project, it allows them to start looking at the long-term vision of being in direct sales versus that first 3 months of their starter period, or, that 2 weeks and up that we get trained to talk about so much. You're having them look at their entire year. Even 1 quarter at a time, that's 90 days. 90 days is something that a lot of people don't even talk about. And, I've talked about this in the previous video. So it's important that you guys get the idea that this business won't be a business if you don't do some long-term planning, some long-term visioning, and then implement action plans to get you there. And again, focus on the actions that you can control. You can't control whether or not 12 people sign up to join your business, but you can control whether or not you're scheduling the interviews and talking to enough people to get those interviews scheduled. If you're not hosting the shows, maybe you need to broaden your marketplace. And we've got a tool that we're going to help you guys with that as we roll into next year. You may have already heard we're going to be doing one final live edition of Direct Sales 101. And everybody who's on the list will have access to that content. So if you're not already on the list, I encourage you, I implore you, I eagerly request that you sign up in the box and get your information in there, get on our list, because in a couple of days, it won't be available anymore at no cost to you. There will be a cost to register for the newsletter. And along with that, we're going to be doing some neat new things to really thank and serve our list members and our customers. So if this content has been great, and remember, be sure to scroll because there's several different videos in this training series, and I'd like you to get them all before January 1, because it'll all go away when the new site launches. Please get signed up, and we'll see you in the next video.